My name is, well, the title of my session today is Getting Grant Ready. So I'm primarily going to be talking about grants. But let me introduce myself and my company to you real quick. The name of my company is The Learning Bridge, and here's my name and here's my contact information if you want to get a snapshot of that or anything. I have 30 minutes and I have 30 slides. So that's about a minute a slide. So I'm going to be going really, really fast. But I'm going to go ahead and take a minute of that time to properly introduce myself to you and tell you how I landed here in front of you and in this space. By training, I'm an educator. I'm a 35-year veteran educator, retired. I retired in October of 2023. I was a teacher, an assistant principal, a dean of instruction, a principal, a charter school superintendent, worked for the State Department of Education, all of that stuff. And so everything that I did over those years sort of informed the things that I'm working with now. During all of that time, I had some side gigs like many of our businesses start out as. I was a consultant helping teachers try to understand how to teach better, working with principals on trying to close the achievement gap. If anybody works in education, you've heard that term. We have students operating at different levels, and we want to bring the level of all students up. I was a principal at a low performing school that we turned around to an exemplary school in 3 years. People got really interested in that, so I went around the state teaching about that. Then in 2018 or so, it's 2014. My son graduated from high school and he got $768,000 in scholarships. So people got really interested in that. So then I went around teaching folks about how to do that. And then in 2000, I started a class on that. And of course, COVID hit. I could no longer go around and do my classes. So I put my class that I was teaching online. And it's still out there if anybody wants it. It's called Scholarship Secrets. 365 days to get free college. And it's still out there. It's on the Thinkific platform. And what I found from doing that is that a lot of the students who were coming to me for help weren't really ready. So the things that I was trying to teach them, they weren't ready for. I needed to back up and teach them other things. And so then I started working on those things, and I really learned that there were some gaps there. So that brought us to where we are with my company now, and why I retired in 2023. We have basically two products in the company. One is called Admit and Go. It's a video game that teaches kids, we're meeting kids where they already are playing video games, and it's teaching them how to access college, how to get scholarships and all that kind of thing. That's on that end. And then we have a new app that we're working on. It's called Smart and Ready, and that is to work with young students, preschool students, and their parents on getting ready for kindergarten, being kindergarten ready. Also, in another part of my life, I was on the board of Head Start of Greater Dallas for 13 years. I was president at board for 3 years, and I also know the struggles that we have with students being ready. So I figured attacking it from the early childhood and from the college, I could really address some of these things that I saw as concerns in my 35 years of education. Okay, so that was me real quick. And what does it have to do with grants and what I'm here to talk to you about today? During all of that time, to help the organizations that I work with and to help my company, I've written a lot of grants. For my company, The Learning Bridge, which is a for-profit company, so people are telling you for-profits can't get grants. That's not true. I have a for-profit company. We've gotten about $2 million in grants. And for a small business, which we are, that's significant to us. I mean, we're not a $1 billion company or $500 million company. We're just a little small mom and pop next door company. So that $2 million meant a lot to us. And then also with organizations that I've been able to help and work with. Someone was asking me earlier, are you a grant writer? Didn't start out that way. Started out as an educator and trying to run my business. More people are coming to me now to help them write grants because I've had some success. So I've helped community organizations around the city with about $10 million in grants. So that's all of that. Now, everything that I'm going to tell you from this point is just about what I've learned about grants, and hopefully you can glean something from this that will be useful to you as well. Okay, so first of all, what keeps us from doing grants in the first place? We have a fear of rejection, but the reality is that only 1 in 5 proposals gets turned down. So go ahead and try. And then if you do get turned down, they're gonna tell you why. If they don't tell you, ask. And most of the grant doors will tell you. And you get all of that feedback, so you know what to do next. The success rate is higher for proposals turned in the second time, and on the third submission, it's about 1-to-1. So I'll tell you a little story here. My first major grant that I applied for my company was with the National Science Foundation, the SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research Grant. And when we applied the first time, we didn't get it, but I felt really passionate about what we were trying to do. That was that first product I was telling you about, and Knit and Go, the video game that helps kids. So I called up the program director and I was like, I really, in my 35 years of experience, I do this every day. I really feel like this can make a difference, and it needs to be born into the world to help more kids. And she helped me. She walked through that application with me. It was about 120-page application with all the attachments and all that kind of stuff. Move this here, move that there. You didn't say this and that. A couple of little nuggets I'll tell you that she shared with me. One was, you've written all this stuff. I'm an educator, so I thought I knew a little bit about, writing and that kind of thing. I've had all of my articles, all of my research in there, that kind of thing, empirical data, all this. She said, you're asking us for this money, but you didn't use any of our research from the National Science Foundation. You can't unhear it once you hear it. But when I wrote it, and I told her, well, I didn't see anything that you had done that was like what I'm doing. And she said, that's okay, but we have supported machine learning, we have supported game learning. It doesn't have to be exactly what you did, but if you're asking us for money, we want to know that you are at least in touch with the work that we're doing. It was an aha moment. Like I said, once I heard that, it was like, okay, Laura. But when I wrote it the first time, I didn't get that right. Another quick nugget I'll share that she shared with me, you have to have letters, right? You have to have letters of support and people that you're going to work with and that kind of thing. And I had a letter of support from Mike Hinojosa. Love Dr. Hinojosa. He was the superintendent of Dallas at the time, so I thought that was a pretty good letter. Okay, she poo-pooed all over that. No, nothing against Dr. Hinojosa, but her point was, we're trying to change the country, we're trying to change the world. So your little neighborhood, even though we're the 10th largest city in the country, but your city superintendent that's not what we're looking for. Okay, so they wanted national support, national references. So I ended up getting the National Math and Science Institute, the National Association of College and Career Counselors, those kinds of things that had large numbers of membership and that were national things. Now, you might ask, did you know somebody at those organizations? I did not. But you're only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of separation away from who you need to know, right? Mm-hmm. So, you ask this person, they know that person, and eventually they get you in touch with who you need to know. So that's just an example. And I think I'm going to say this about 50 times throughout this presentation. I really should have started with her. She was gracious enough to help me at the end. But one of the things that you want to do is talk to the program manager of whatever grant you're writing for, what you're going to do, to make sure that you're in alignment, that they can tell you whatever nuggets they want to share with you and that kind of thing. So, the first time I applied, I didn't get that grant. The second time I applied, I did, with that feedback that I got from her. So that was the SBIR Phase 1 grant. Created a prototype, shared my report at the end, the prototype and all that kind of thing. And then the third time I wrote was for the SBIR Phase 2, and that was the $1 million grant. Now that I've kind of figured out the SBIR process, I'm writing a grant right now for with the NIH. It's for Phase 1, National Institute of Health. And listen, okay, another quick story. I'm going back to the slides in a minute. Another quick story though, as part of the National Science Foundation, they asked me to sit on this board to try to understand why they weren't getting more applications from around the country. So when we introduced ourselves on this board, everybody on the board had a national grant, right? So we were talking about which grant we had and so on and so forth. I think I might have been the only one there with the NSF, National Science Foundation. and it was a small board, like 13, but like 6 people on this board had NIH grants. And I was like, that, is not a bell curve. It shouldn't, half the people shouldn't be coming from that one organization, right? So I couldn't wait to get home to kind of Google up to see what was going on with the NIH grants. Because in my mind, here's another thing, don't talk yourself out of applying for things and doing things. You will have yourself thinking that you can't do this because all those reasons. And I think I'm going to go into myths here if I ever get back to the board. You'll talk yourself out of trying for something. Don't do that. I've done that for you. Don't do that. Just try. Go ahead and try. There's nobody better than you. But for some reason, I had told myself, I didn't even think about the National Institutes of Health, because to me, the National Institute of Health was doctors and epidemiologists and people that were going to do clinical trials, not just a little educator like me. But when I went on the website and I start Googling, guess what they have? They have clinical trials, sure. They got to test out drugs and all this kind of stuff. But guess what else they have? They have a whole non-clinical trial, right? There are 16 different entities and organizations under the National Institute of Health. You guys are all smart. Y'all probably already know that. I did not know that. When I thought of National Institute of Health, I was like, Centers for Disease Control and all these smart people who do stuff that I don't do. There is one that is called the Kennedy Shriver Institute for Early Childhood Education with non-clinical trials. And so I'm turning in a phase 1 application with them. So that whole spiel was just to tell you, go ahead and try. Okay, what else? Not enough time. That's a thing that we'll tell ourselves. It's like an Olympic event. You got to write and rewrite and revise and that kind of thing. When I was working on my PhD, I had a professor that told me, he said literally, hold your nose and write. Because the first thing that you write is gonna stick. But just get something on paper, and that's what I'll say for your grants as well. Just get something on paper and we can revise it later. Okay, write every day, same place, same time. Get yourself in the mood to write. And for all you young people that are in here, because I teach on scholarships as well, that's not what this class is about. That applies to scholarships too. Find yourself a time to write and work on those scholarships. Think about it like a part-time job. So, you go to your part-time job every day or a couple of times a week for 2-3 hours a day. Devote that to working on scholarships. Okay, just do it. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna put these up here real fast so you can take a picture of it, because this is the most important slide. This is the stuff that you need if you're working on a grant. You need your form. Every grant application is gonna ask for some form of this. Your formation documents. If you're a 501c3, you need your letter of determination, but don't worry about it if you're not a 501c3, because there's grants for us too. Your vision and mission statement, the title, roles, and bios of your leadership team, not the resume, the bios, a short thing, right? The demographics of your team, you need a board, you need to be a real, so the first thing is you need to be a real operating entity, organization. Not just an idea. You need to exist and be doing something that helps people, right? Okay. Well, I just said that. Who's gonna benefit from it? What's your demographic? How are you evaluating it? This part over here, you need to be a real organization. Do you have a budget? Do you have your statement of cash flow, your revenues and expenses, your year-to-date? You need to know your numbers, right? If you get to talk to anybody, and they do have interviews along the way, you need to know your numbers. So you need to be a real operating business. Okay, the salaries, the donors, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and they'll ask you about sustainability. So if you get our money, what are you gonna do after you spend it? What happens after that? If you don't get our money, what's your idea about how you're gonna go on? So what happens if you don't get it? Okay, keys to success. You wanna be innovative and creative. Call the program officer. See, there's that. I tell you that was coming on. And being innovative and creative. Let me talk for a minute about AI and ChatGPT and all those wonderful tools out there. That's what they are. They're tools. They can refine an idea that you have, but don't have it write your whole thing. Because there's other tools that can identify that AI wrote it. This is good for the kids too. When you're ready to go to college, you're working on your scholarship essays and stuff. Don't let AI write the whole thing. And when you get ready to go to college, resist the urge. I've taught classes, okay? There are tools. We're going to run those essays through there, and it's going to tell us there's an 85% chance that this was written by AI, right? And then we're going to be coming back to talk to you. I know students who have gotten displaced, we'll say, displaced from their university because they cheated. So don't let that be you. It's not worth it. Just go on and write your C paper. It's better to write your C paper and see your way on through. Just see your way through. Then, trying to cut corners and you're tired and you want to cheat and do that, and you may get thrown out of university altogether. You may get thrown out for the semester. It's just not worth all that. Just do what you can. And then after you get your first job and they look at your transcripts, are only going to look at it because you don't have any experience yet. So they need to look at something. After that, ain't nobody going to look at your transcript. So just do your best, but be honest, be real. That's the most important thing. Okay, the grant process is never weighted because you have something on paper. You're going to get feedback. It feels good when you get it done. It requires your thought. All that. Okay, who gives money and why? I'm going to go through this real fast. I was talking to someone earlier. The federal, I just talked to you a little bit about some federal things. Like I did mine with the National Science Foundation. I talked about one that I'm working on now with the National Institute of Health. Federal. And see, I wrote this a long time ago before we were in the current climate that we're in. But at the federal level, they give, they take away. It's a federal money. So the powers that be get to decide what they want to focus on. And that's just the way it is. We can bring our heads and moan about it, but that doesn't help. So it's a slower process. Like the NIH one that I just turned in, it's not due until September the 5th. They're going to have a paper review by the end of December. They're going to actually call their committees together and review in January, and they're not going to announce until April. And it's due in September. So, you got to have other things going on, other lines of income, because that takes a long time. State is another way that you could get money. A few things. You kind of have to dig. You can go into the Texas Register. That's one place where you can go and learn about the state money. Private giving is fun. Private foundations, they're out there, a lot of money out there. My favorite place to go is Bank of America Philanthropic Solutions. So if anybody's writing notes to try to go and look for grants, because they have a whole host of them on there. You can search by state, geographical area, where you are, all those kinds of things, and you can find out the ones that will fit for you, and you can go apply from there. Oh yeah, and corporations give them as well. I kind of think of corporations the same with foundations. So what is a grant? So a grant is going to be a gift to you. We were talking earlier about non-dilutive. So they're not going to want some percent of your company because you applied for a grant. They have a problem, the entity has a problem, you're offering a solution to that problem. So that's what happens with the grant. The idea comes from you, but it's not just an idea, right? You have some steps along the way of what you want to do. Okay, the process, you start with your idea, you look at the institution to make sure that it's a fit, you assemble a winning team that's going to work on this thing. Either you're working on it now, or if you get it, match to the sponsor, read the guidelines. Oh, please read the guidelines and read the guidelines again. That's half the battle right there. If you just give the people what they want, then they're going to take a good look at what you're trying to do. And I'll say that with my students who are in here who are working on scholarships as well. Follow the rules. If they ask for the thing in New Times Roman 10 point, don't give them Arial 12. That's not what they ask for. If they ask for 500 words on a response, or students, if they ask for 500 words on an essay, don't give them 501. 500 means 500. I'm bird walking now, but bear with me. I'm a teacher and I see all these kids, so I gotta talk to them. I have served on a number of committees for reviewing scholarships, and this is what we do. We take our little stack of scholarships that we have, and we're separating them in two piles. So if we ask for an essay, we ask for 500 words, we ask for letters from 3 sponsors, we ask for transcripts in a sealed envelope, signed across the seal, whatever crazy thing your scholarship person is asking for. And so we go through and look at all that stuff first. So this person that had 550 words, they go into the no review. This person who didn't have the transcript, they go into the no review. You don't even get read, you don't even get reviewed. So, beat out all those people who didn't follow rules. It's the same for grants. Just do what they ask for. That's half of that. Okay. Contact the sponsor, right? Or the program director. Find out what they have to say. Plan in detail, develop the budget, read the guidelines. And we talked about just hold your nose right and revise. Okay, your idea. That is just something that exists in your mind. Your task is to present it as something that's fundable and that's going to get a result. Everybody is all about data and how are you going to prove it and what is the impact going to be. So you need to have that written in there. Okay. More questions to ask yourself. Do they fund what you want to do? Are they interested at this time? Are they working on your population? Have they made awards to similar institutions and that kind of thing? And do they require matching? Sometimes they require that. A lot of the grants that I wrote for Head Start required matching. We had to have matching grants, so we had to figure out where that was coming from. These are just all things to think about. So it's kind of like playing the game. You have to play by the rules. I said that. Get the guidelines, read the guidelines, follow the guidelines. I think I just beat that horse to death. It's all about the guidelines, right? Types of grants. Okay, you have the concept paper, pre-proposals, the full proposal. Sometimes you have to write a pre-proposal and be invited to write. Actually, when I was talking about the National Science Foundation, they have a little pre-proposal. You go in, it's an email thing. If they like what you're talking about, then they ask you to submit the whole thing. All right, forms, attachments. You've got to have all your budgets and documents and all that kind of thing. Financial documents, we talked about that. All right. The next steps after reading the guidelines, call the program officer. I tell you, I have this in here about 5 times because it's the most important thing. If I had done that my first time, I would have saved myself a lot of time because I wasted 9 months applying, waiting for the results, get turned down, and then I called the program officer. But I didn't have me to tell me to do that first. Now you have me. Call the program officer first before you start, right? Okay. Technical issues. The due date, make sure that it's going to get there on time. Follow if they say, can you mail it or FedEx it? Be careful about FedEx because you can't FedEx to a post office box. I talked about all this, everything they ask for. These are some of the things that they ask for. Page limits, how it needs to be numbered, margins, and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, submitting your grant. Okay, I just mentioned that. Make sure it's received by the date that it's supposed to. Make sure you have your correct address on there. At the very last minute, a crisis on your part doesn't create a crisis on my part or a crisis on the part of that person who's reading the grant. So, because whatever happened to you happened, I don't mean to be mean, but they don't care. They have a date. It's got to be in by the date, and that's just all there is to it. Page limits, there's going to be page limits. Don't go beyond that. And Lawrence Law, 1 hour before the grant needs to go out, your copy is going to break down or something's going to happen. So I write dates on my calendar for grants or when I'm working with students for scholarships, and I never put the real date on my calendar. Back it up. I try to back it up for about a month. I just turned in my NIH. It's not due till September 5th. Back it up. So if your copier does break down or something happens, you have time to deal with that and kind of trick yourself into it a little bit. Leave enough time. Yeah. The final document needs to be neat, easy to read. All the sections are identified. They may ask for however many copies they want. I don't know. Whatever they ask for, just do that. Sometimes they ask for it to be signed in blue ink. They do that so that they know it's done by a real person and it's not a computer thing. If they ask for that, do that. I don't know, it's a silly thing, but we don't make these rules. We just trying to get the money. So just do what they ask you. 14 reasons why they failed, and the deadline, guidelines not followed, it wasn't intriguing, didn't meet the priorities, not organized, the methodology was weak, wasn't a real budget, poorly written. Okay. And then remember, get, read, and follow the guidelines, call the program officer, and then if you don't get accepted, recycle it and use it again. Success really means that you have 1 in 3 applications turned in. I have done way more than that. You know, I've done something, you know, I've had like maybe 10 applications out and I only got 1. But you know, if that one was $1 million, right? I'll take that. Call a program officer, rewrite, revise, and resubmit. And okay, here, let me go through this real quick, because here's one that you can take a picture of. Oh, wait. Okay, you can take a picture of that. There's some places that you could go and look for some grants. Everybody who wants that got it? Okay. The fatal mistake is not doing it. So just go ahead and apply for that scholarship. Apply for that grant, apply for that scholarship. And when you speak what you see, you manifest what you need. And that's it. That's my information. Yeah. So, do I stay here and take questions, or do I go out there and take questions?
If you have time, you want to take a couple of questions.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I can take some questions. Any questions?
Yeah, my daughter's going to go next for presentation, maybe once a class, so do you mind sitting here for 5 minutes?
Do I mind sitting here for 5 minutes?
Yeah, for the next presentation.
We can actually give you a private room for, if you want her to speak after.
Yeah.
She can go to conference room.
She's gonna give the presentation, right? It's better that you know what kind of work.
So it can be afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that mean I need to do? I don't know.
Nothing.
Oh,
What
okay.
time do you have to be?
Yes, that would be the question.
Oh,
That's
let me see. 12.
So you'll be gone at 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I was saying is that after, this, I can take questions. I can
Yes,
sit
sure.
here, or I can go out there, whatever y'all want to do. Y'all want to send me outside? Okay.
It's up to, it is
It's
really,
up to you.
it's up to you right now. This is your world, it's your stage. I'm
I
just
do have a
here.
question. When you apply for grants, how long should you wait to hear a response? Is the response immediate or does it depend?
Yeah, it's never immediate. That's for sure. And they're usually gonna tell you somewhere in the instructions, like as I was applying for this last one that I did, the National Institute of Health, is due September 5th. And then they have a whole page of important deadlines. And they're telling me it's due September 5th. We're gonna have a paper review by December 2025. We're going to have the committee review by January 2026, and we're gonna make announcements in April 2026. So whatever the grant is gonna tell you. If it's from a corporation or whatever, they may say, we take grants 3 times a year, and we announce results this time of year or whatever. But they'll tell you. And if they don't tell you, call a program officer. It gives you a reason to call. We need to call them anyway. What else we got?
Any other questions? By the way, I'm posing the questions up here for anybody who,
Laura, first of
We
all,
follow
thank
each
you
other in
again.
there.
It's wonderful every time I hear you speak, so I'm so glad you were able to make it. But I've got a quick question. Do you have any backup advice? If you call the program officer and they say, just submit it, and I'll call you if I have any questions.
Well, I would say be a little tenacious. So if that was the response you got, I would come up with a very specific question, and I would just go back, at least 2-3 times. And I just wouldn't give up.
All right?
So in your presentation, you said that the idea process is, But my question is for like businesses that are like still getting developed, does that have any requirements for wanting to get grants?
Yeah, and it depends on the grant. So you have to find a grant that's going to fit you. If you have an idea, and you have like a MVP or a prototype that you're working on, there's somebody that would be interested in that. If you're just basically getting started, I would say try something like an incubator or an accelerator where they will work with you at the idea level. I did the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas incubator a few years ago. This is before my product was developed, so it was just in the idea stage. And I got into the incubator and they helped me along and I made a little money out of that. And then I applied for the accelerator. That's what happened. Actually, I applied for the accelerator first and I didn't get it. They sent me back to the incubator, which I was clutching pearls because I thought I was really good at that. And so I did that. And then I applied the very next year to the accelerator. And I got into the accelerator and kind of building up on what you said, Chad, it's to not give it up, right? They said no, and they sent me back. And I thought that my company was too far advanced in that because they were teaching you how to get your LLC and how to start doing your financials and all this, and I had all that. But nonetheless, that's where they sent me. And I wanted to have this relationship, so I did the thing. But I came right back and applied for the one that I thought was gonna be more beneficial to me, and that was the accelerator. So I did the United Way Accelerator, and then after I did the accelerator, I went right on and I applied for the United Way pitch competition. And I got into the pitch competition. I did not win, what did they call it? Innovator of the Year, but I won the most impactful small business of the year. So through that whole acceleration and pitch process, I got $70,000. So I would say that's a good place to start if you're at the idea level.
I'm presenting too, so.
Yeah, if you're at the idea level, check out the United Way Incubator and Accelerator and Pitch. It's a pretty good one. There's bunches of other ones out there too. There's a whole ton of accelerators, incubators. What else? Somebody over here had a question.
Anybody else?
Well, what can we do for you as a community, Laura?
What can you do for me as a community? Well, go visit my website and just browse around and see if there's anything on there that interests you. It's thelearningbridge.net. Thelearningbridge.net.
Awesome. Well, let's give Laura. We are so blessed to have been able to bring Laura to our community to share. I listened to her from another member organization that I'm a part of that you're going to hear from. We have a community spotlight from them later in the presentation. But when I heard her, I was like, we need her in our space. And instantaneous, I was like, will you be my aunt? Will you be my aunt? You know, it was that, you know, that accent. And so, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. It's always good to see you the second time. So I know the third time you present 1 million cups is going to be off the chain. Thank you. Now we have a special opportunity. And if you saw our collaterals or assets out on the internet and you were interested in Dallas Startup Week, well, the comments I got most of was about our youth entrepreneurs. And we're getting ready to start and letting you see what they're doing. They're two amazing young people. And in fact, you're not supposed to ask a woman's age, but I will tell you, this is the most 12 years old, 12-year-old that I've ever met. And I'm gonna tell you how we met. Well, I serve and work with CTEs all over the Metroplex, career technology centers for high schools. Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, Frisco. And I met this young lady at Frisco under a program called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. Who's ever heard of that? So as we get into a space and we call it the entrepreneurial imperative that was written back in 2003 by Carl Schramm, the president of the foundation of Kaufman. And they talked about this imperative being that the United States to keep a competitive edge in technology and innovation, we had to start developing our own entrepreneurs. So one of my close and dear friends, and if you want to go out to Leadership Frisco and look at Frisco Man of the Year, President of the Chamber, there's a guy named Peter Burns. So he started another program because he was chairman of the chamber. And Kaufman and the chamber created this program along with another entrepreneur called the Young Entrepreneur Academy. And I tell you, go and look at that. If you want to help your kid, help you, go and find out about that program. Because we start teaching them how to think and thinking about it in the right way. Because normally we don't get that opportunity. Our teachers don't really know anything about entrepreneurship unless they are at the higher ed level, they're getting some of that instilled in them. Parents, if you're working a job, you really don't know anything about, you think you know. I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna be a this or that. I'm gonna do my skill set real good, real estate, insurance, whatever it is. That's not entrepreneurship. You can call it what you may. Entrepreneurship is a way to think. And thinking like an entrepreneur takes training. And so I'm introducing a 13-year-old now and her mother that were in the Young Entrepreneur Academy in Frisco. It's called Dallas because there's no other chapters. There's only one in Frisco. And I was given the privilege to mentor this young lady through one of her projects. And then I was introduced to another project she was doing, talking about artificial intelligence. So guess what? It hit me because it's one of my advocacy, and that is dementia, Alzheimer's. I'd like to introduce to you Shivani Perrin. Come on.
Give me 1 second, Shivani.
So hello everyone, my name is Shivani and I am an upcoming senior at George Washington University Online High School. I have 2 startups. One is Alti, which I'm going to be presenting on now. It's basically a project that I'm working on. I'll talk a little bit about that soon. And I also am going to talk about my startup Vitatio as well. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you today about why early detection is so critical, how Alti works in the first place, and where we're going to be headed next. So next slide, please. So Alzheimer's affects 1 in 3 seniors and takes a huge emotional and financial toll on families. And in the US alone, over $345 billion are spent every year on Alzheimer's care. And these are not just numbers, they represent the families struggling with memory loss and loss of independence for their loved ones. Next slide, please. And right now there is currently no cure for Alzheimer's, but we know that early detection can really make a big difference. And with early detection, patients can begin treatments sooner, make lifestyle changes, and maintain their independence for longer periods of time. And this can give patients and their families time and hope. So in order to fully solve the problem, we need to understand the problem, what causes the problem. And the main contributors are amyloid plaques, which are basically like clumps of protein that form into beta amyloid, and also tau tangles that disrupt neuron function. And these changes can shrink brain tissue and impair cognitive function over time. And detecting these changes early is our primary focus here at Alti. So with traditional diagnosis, it often happens after the memory loss has occurred, and this is pretty rarely in the disease process. And MRI and PET scans are rather powerful tools, but interpreting interpreting them may take hours, and there aren't enough specialists to meet the growing demand. And this is where Alti kicks in. So, introducing Alti. So Alti is an AI-powered platform that is designed to detect Alzheimer's easier and faster. And this uses machine learning to detect machine learning on MRI and PET scans to look for patterns associated with amyloid plaques and other changes. And because our technology is flexible, it can also help to detect brain tumors and even breast cancers. So how does Alti work in the first place? So first we take the patient's MRI and PET scans, and then our algorithm compares it to a data set of over over hundreds and thousands of images. And it looks for signs like amyloid plaque buildup and tissue abnormalities. And finally, it provides an early risk assessment. And this is able to give doctors valuable insights quickly and efficiently. So we use a deep learning model that we refer to as convolutional neural networks, or CNN. And we also perform 3D volumetric segmentation, which basically means that we see the brain in a 3D render scan, and we're able to pinpoint accurately small changes. And everything runs on a cloud platform, so it's easier and more efficient, and it's fast and scalable. And we also have done sample data testing on our application, and we also have a provisional patent on Alti currently. And no clinical trials have been conducted yet. However, we are planning to raise funds and bringing it to clinical trials and clinics that, with the help of Mr. Bert Robinson, and also we would love to apply for grants with the help with Mrs. Tristar. So yeah. And so compared to traditional methods, Alti provides results about 70% faster. And it's highly accurate in detecting early stage changes, and is designed to assist doctors, not to replace them. And we believe that this combination of speed and precision, it can change how we approach neurodegenerative diseases in general. Next slide. So as you can see, we have like a PET scan comparison of 3 brain PET scans. So on the left, we can see that there is a normal brain that has a lot of balance activity, a lot of red, yellow, green, a lot of high metabolic activity. And then in the mild cognitive impairment, you can see that this is an early warning stage. And in the third image, you can see that there is a lot of, this has been caused by a lot of, there's a low metabolic activity, especially in the areas that are associated with memory. And this is one of the main causes of Alzheimer's disease. And this type of data is what Alti uses to detect earlier patterns before the damage already occurs. So now let's talk about the market and opportunity of Alti. So AI healthcare is growing rapidly, as I'm sure most of you know, and is expected to be at a $180 billion market by 2030. And right now, there are over 6 million patients with Alzheimer's in the US alone. And Alti can integrate with hospitals and diagnostic labs, making it scalable for healthcare systems nationwide. So as you can see, here's a roadmap of our future goals. So we plan to conduct clinical trials, enhance the speed and accuracy of our model, and expand it to other diseases like Parkinson's. Oh, my bad. Parkinson's. I'll just leave it over here for now.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we want to get into additional cancer types. We want to go into Parkinson's, tumor segmentation, breast cancer detection in the upcoming future. And we, like I mentioned earlier, we want to integrate into hospital systems directly, and also maybe even open a patient-friendly app for quick risk assessments. So while Alti focuses on Alzheimer's detection, but it's also important to recognize the role of daily wellness in long-term brain and body health. And unfortunately, as mentioned earlier, there is no cure for Alzheimer's, but we can take control of our overall health through good nutrition, regular exercise, and the right supplements. And this is where Vitashu comes in. Vitashu is one of my other startups and offers a range of science-backed supplements from multivitamin gummies to ashwagandha to ginkgo biloba plus ginseng, and also CO Q10. And all products are made with FDA-registered suppliers, and they're designed to support energy, focus, digestion, immune function, and much more. So now, as you can see, we have some featured products of Vitatio. So if you would like to see more of our products, you can head over to vitatio.com. And what sets Vitatio apart what sets Vitatio apart is its focus on quality, accessibility, and ease of use. And it has a mix of gummies, soft gels, and capsules. And the supplements are enjoyable and are easy to take, and there are no giant pills or confusing labels. And finally, our call to action. So our mission is simple: to transform brain health together. If you're interested in partnerships, pilots, or funding opportunities, we would love to connect with you. And after all, it's way better to invest in early detection now than to spend your future looking for your keys in the fridge. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
I don't think y'all understand. I've got chills right now. She started when she was 12, and now she's 13. Do y'all understand? My 13, I was like, I wasn't in front of her. So for her to be able to get up here, that was phenomenal. So if we have questions really quick. I want to make sure that, don't feel nervous. You did a great job. But if you have questions really quick, either words of encouragement, anything, but questions for sure. Let's go ahead and get those questions out. A couple of questions.
Yeah, I would like to say something first, because we were introduced to Mr. Bert Robinson in the YEA Frisco, and it's great meeting him as a mentor for my daughter here, and we have another daughter on the way. So yeah, and Mr. Starr also has been helping us so much. So and now it's great to be part of this community with Ms. Masako as well. So yeah, we definitely would like to work with you guys for grants or funding stuff. It feels nice to be part of this community.
Thank you. You've done a marvelous job because you put her in a position.
Yes.
We're talking about education again. And I know as parents, we think we know everything, we can do everything. But if you really want to help your kid, get them into professional programs early.
Yes.
And that's what Shivani is representing. Thank you, Shivani.
Any more questions really quick? Look, there we go.
Nice job, first of all. I'm just curious, are you using public models or are you designing and building your own models?
So currently we're using public models given to us by hospitals like Baylor Scott. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
More questions?
What can we do for you as a community, Shivani?
Honestly, I would like this. We are actually we're wanting some grants as well. So we're open to financial opportunities. Also, support is very much needed, honestly. So I thank you guys so much for being here today, and just being here makes a big difference, honestly.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you one more time. Let's hear it for Shivani. That was amazing. I'll grab your name tag, but we already know who you are now. So great job. Great job. All right. So as you can see, again, we got some people say youth entrepreneurs, but I like to call them youngpreneurs. But with minds like that and things that we want to start creating, kind of like what Coach said, is building that community that helps our youth. Because we want them to feel like they can come up, be comfortable into an environment where they feel they can talk about their brand, talk about their products. But mental health I know after COVID, it kind of changed some of our youngsters a little bit, even ourselves, but more of our youth that feel like they couldn't open up. It's something that was it changed. I don't know if people felt that during that time frame. I know I did, but even with my 13-year-old now, I wish she was talking like that, but trying to get her to, I wish she was actually in here to be able to witness that. So we got our youngpreneurs back there. So let's hear a big, oh man, big clap for all you. Thank you all for volunteering today, but being able to have other youngpreneurs to be able to come in and support Shivani, that's amazing to see. And so we need to start encouraging more of our youngpreneurs because they are our future. Because I'm sorry, I don't want to work till I'm 60, I'm gonna be honest. So I want them to be able to come in and be able to take over to where I feel like, you know, our world is in a better place. So definitely it's very encouraging for Shivani to come up here and see that at her age to be able to do that. So I don't know, I'm still in chills. It's amazing to be able to see what products that y'all offer, and I'm sure it's gonna grow from there. Let me ask you this, since what, besides mom, because I know mom had a lot, but what made your mind stay with it to where you're like, you know what, I want to do this versus it been a decision saying my parents made me do this. What made your mind stay with it?
Because as you know, I'm in high school, right? And it was very chaotic, but what got me through it was honestly my mom's support, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm very passionate about, I'm on the tech side, right? And I'm hoping to integrate AI with healthcare in my future major as I go to college. And honestly, what stuck me through it was with Alzheimer's, right? It's
You're good.
Yeah. With early detection, right? With Alzheimer's.
And your mom does not go, lose the mind soon.
Honestly, as a young entrepreneur, I want to be able to help the world in some way. And with early detection and being able to provide a service that it helps people in their life.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Very good. Very good. I'm probably gonna pick on one of the youngpreneurs back there. I don't know which one yet.
This let them move on. They don't need the pressure.
Well, no.
They have enough.
Well, it was one of those where I wanted to see what their motivation is, and so what. We'll start with the original.
I don't know if they have.
Well, I didn't know if they were.
No, they don't have.
No.
Can I
Go ahead.
please? Because you might want to explain about fast track program.
Right. Let me do that. Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Fast Track, I mentioned it as an adult program, right? And again, I've had comments that it's better than Harvard. Now, how do you bring that down to the level of a youth being able to understand that has no really experience in business or anything else? And so we are able to do that with Fast Track. We've got educators that know how to deliver the learning in a way our youth can understand. And Shivani is a graduate of two programs, Young Entrepreneur Academy and Fast Track. The elements of Fast Track, we teach these elements, and Young Entrepreneur Academy teaches these elements. The first one is ideate. You can think about what that is. That's vision, having a personal vision, setting missions and goals. Well, the next one is positioning. I asked that question, a lot of people didn't misunderstand, but we're talking about branding. We're talking about marketing. We're talking about setting your company up to what markets you're going to go for, doing market research and analytics, which I find most of my adult entrepreneurs don't even understand or know how to do. But we are able to teach the youth to do that in a great way where I use this term, they can get granular. Most people that come into Coach Burt's office, they can do it at the high level because they had AI help them or some guru help them, but they can't get granular. Because I'm going to ask those kind of granular questions, and people like her can answer them because they have learned the right way. They didn't get started the wrong way. And by the way, 70–80% of entrepreneurs I've had met over the last 20, none of them had a business degree. So we're dealing with a lack of business acumen when you talk to someone like me. And I have to go through that. But anyway, what's next?
All right.
Question.
Can I have one question to Shiva?
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for the engaging discussion. I just wanted to know, when is your aha moment? Like with all the diseases, why you focus to Alzheimer's? What's with Alzheimer's? If you can share that with us.
So actually, my grandmother, she has Alzheimer's as well, so that was also some starting point for me. And that, yeah, I guess you could say that was sort of my aha moment as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're ready for our next youngpreneur, and she is an amazing young lady. That's me. Another youngpreneur, another amazing young ladies. And by the way, that was one of my initiatives. And again, I hate preaching, but I can. So you're gonna get a little pulpit on this. Women entrepreneurs, on the average, in America, all gender, all races, or all races, ethnicities, do $1 million in revenue. Only 3% of them do $1 million in revenue. I didn't say income. That's a big disparity between the male. And one of the things we've found in our research, in our analytics, they don't get the same kind of support. They haven't been taught the same. And one of the things we need to do in America is face the fact that 53% of our households are controlled by women. And they have that responsibility. So we have to teach them about financial, we have to teach them about numbers. And so that's one of my careabouts. That's one of my advocacies. I hope some of you can join me in that mindset. But I am ready to present our next speaker, Tamia.
Yeah.
Come on up, Tamia. Tamia is another youngpreneur who has the skills of creativity that I've never seen. So what you're gonna hear about, it's kind of like mystic cosmic, but you feel it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tamia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tamia, but I go by I'm solely Mia because I'm solely me. I want to just say thank you to the 1 Million Cups family, Coach Bert, Sunflower, which is my mom, actually. Tristar, and Tony. I feel like adopted, honestly, and
You are.
Chad, and I'm very honored. But I am going to get into this presentation. You guys have been here a while. So first I want to say hello again. I'm going to introduce you to Sacred Aura. Sacred Aura is the softness that young women was not given until now. I just turned 20 years old. Still hard for me to believe, but Sacred Aura didn't come from a business plan. It came from the moments I broke down in silence, trying to look like I had it all together while drowning inside. Whew. I searched for systems. I tried journaling, therapy, and meditation, but nothing spoke to the emotional chaos I was navigating as a young woman in high school, 16, trying to navigate it all. I didn't need another productivity hack. I needed a sacred process, one that held both my softness and my structure. And with God's guidance, Sacred Aura began. This isn't just about wellness, it's about identity. And this is my becoming, and I'm building it out loud so other girls don't have to do it alone. The hard truth is most girls are breaking. She's breaking and no one sees it. She burns out in silence. She's scrolling on social media, searching for something that feels like home in her body. But the deeper she scrolls, the emptier she feels. She stands in the mirror and wonders, oh, wait, I'm not on the right side. There we go. She stands in the mirror and wonders, where did I go? Who am I? What am I looking at in the mirror? And she's not lazy. She's not lost. She's just overstimulated and under-nurtured. So she performs, smiles, posts, moves on, but inside she's invisible, even to herself. And every time she tries to soften, she's told that softness is weakness. And that's why Sacred Aura has to exist. Because she does not need more products, she needs a way to see herself. Now, let's look at some statistics. 48 million plus Gen Z women, young girls, are navigating emotional chaos. And a lot of them are not even talking about it because they don't know how. $1 billion plus is spent yearly on self-help and wellness. A lot of it's coming through TikTok. Believe it or not, well, you guys can believe it. 70% of these young girls are craving structure plus softness, but don't know where to start. While 65% report highly stressed and confused with who they are. And here are just some of the sources that are very credible. Okay. So this is what most young women are caught in. They're caught in self-care that is not helping who she's actually wanting to become. So let's look at some things that she's actually actively buying. 85% of my audience is currently buying skincare and beauty products. That's the highest percentage. Then we move down to 72%, which is aesthetic journals and planners that are from Target, Walmart, all of the things that are easily accessible. 60% are buying crystals and spiritual kits, which is helpful. 55% self-help books. See, I love self-help books. Like, if you ever ask me, what are you reading? It's a self-help book. 40% of my audience is buying into meditational apps, and less than 15% are actually investing into personalized therapy and coaching that's actually getting the help that they need. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that these are not just numbers. I don't know what's happening in my slides, guys. There we go. These are not just numbers. These are real girls trying to grow up with no emotional roadmap. So she's overwhelmed, she's overstimulated, she's either overperforming or she's completely shutting down. And the wellness world is feeding her more noise, not clarity. Hard, right? Yeah. So let's get into something a little bit more light. I have products today, and I'm going to start passing around while I, do this. As you pass it around, I want you to feel it for what it is. It's not just a journal, but a mirror. This is where the girl who's tired of surviving meets the young woman she's becoming. Inside are mood-based affirmations for young women, specifically, just for divine goddess energy, self-reflection prompts, and gratitude practices designed to shift her identity, not just her day. Because true gratitude doesn't just lift your mood. It rewires how you see yourself. This is my only copy that I have. If you look in there, you'll probably see my baby, I have a big picture in there. So, yeah, I used to cry a lot. I'm a very emotional person. So, I created it to change lives, but I need help getting it printed, positioned, and placed into the hands of the girls who need it most. Page by page, she's beginning to remember, I am already her. And so this is the second product. And as this goes around, I want you to notice how just one drop shifts the moment. And you guys can open it and actually take a drop of it. It's made with all natural ingredients. It's a holistic product. Push down. Yeah, push down.
Childproof.
Oh, childproof.
So push down.
There we go. It's still open.
It's
I
still
left it
open.
unchallenged.
One drop, you only need one drop. Only need one drop. And these are not just oils, they're sacred activators. One drop on the wrist, and she's back in her body, back in her breath, back in her power. These divine energy oils turn chaos into calm, overthinking into presence, and rushed routines into rituals. So I start going around, let me know. I know it's
Man.
It's $25 each, but each one of those costs $10 to make. I created them to feel luxurious, but to work on the soul deep level as well. Because healing isn't just about mindset, it's a sensory lifestyle. And she deserves one that smells, feels, and lives sacredly within her. So this is where self-care meets self-initiation, and it's one drop away. Just down there. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of look at this a little bit just because I wanted to show you guys the differences. What she's being told to buy versus what she's actually craving. She didn't come here for another to-do list. She came here for a transformation that feels like her and meets her where she's at. She came for something that actually sees her. Walmart planners, Target journals, the 5-star must-haves on TikTok. They're promising productivity, but she's craving peace. The planner gives her pressure. The journals gave her reflection. Sacred Aura gives her direction. Not just a moment of motivation, but a mirror, a map, a magnetic daily return to herself. Because this isn't about productivity, it's about staying connected. So let's go into my business plan. My business model, sorry. Hello. There we go. Okay. We're building this slow and sacred, okay? Right now we offer 2 core products, which is still being passed around. The Divine Gratitude Journal and the Sacred Oils, which is priced between $15 and $25. We mainly sell through storytelling and social content, and that's working. More tools are in development, both digital and physical, but we're being intentional, okay? We need the right support and guidance that will help us grow even further, especially into schools, clinics, and aligned partnerships. And this is just the beginning. There you go, okay. Okay. This isn't just a brand, this is a blueprint. So 2025 is about rooting the ritual. We focus on our core, the journals, the oils, the daily sacred habits that change how she lives. 2026, we rise the movement. We expand the line, partner with schools, creators, and align spaces that spread our mission. By 2027, we reclaim our systems. Sacred Aura becomes certifiable. Women lead others through our self-care process. In 2028, we return her to herself with retreats, sacred schools, and sanctuary spaces. We make this accessible worldwide. She doesn't just heal, she becomes the healer.
Love that.
Okay. Now, this is your invitation into who she's becoming, okay? Sacred Aura will flourish with the right support. So what we're seeking is scholarships for continued education for myself, because Sacred Aura is only as strong as the space I can hold. And I keep holding it. I need support. That looks like scholarships to continue my education, mentors who align with our mission, angel investors to help fund legal setup, product growth, and sacred infrastructure. As I grow, heal, and rise, Sacred Aura gets the best of me. And the women we serve rise with us. We build her together. If something in this spoke to you, come find me. Let's meet one-on-one, heart to heart, soul to soul, because real connections where sacred order begins.
Hey, so, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay. So do y'all know that this is,
in this.
she, you get it too. So watching her grow into this is probably why you see most of us,
We're about to cry.
most of us organizers are, we've seen these two grow, and it's
Right.
phenomenal for this to be her first presentation ever.
Yes.
And so that was phenomenal. If you have questions, any questions for Tamia? Yes.
So where are you going to school and what are you majoring in?
So that's why I want to talk to Align Mentors, because I am actively looking to know, I need to be molded, and I need to know from professional advice, okay, what do you think? You know, like I'm still actively looking for more.
She just graduated from Fast Track,
Okay.
number one. She's our most recent youth graduate, so you're gonna have your presentation with your certificate very soon. But answer the question in terms of the foundational degree that you're working on. I think that's what more is.
Yeah.
Okay, so marketing, things like that, so I know how to put it out there more in need.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I know you have a great presentation, great job.
Thank you.
I know a lot of youth in your area are TikTok, everything's digital. They're a digital option. I know I have a daughter, you give her a book, she'll hold it, but you put it on an app or something, then she's all into it or something.
Yeah.
Is that an option you're looking at?
Yeah, so I actually started, like when I first made this, I made it digitally. And then my mom surprised me for my birthday physically with this. So everything I've done is digital. That's why my business is mostly digital.
Great. Good question.
Yeah, and I really like the storytelling picture, you know.
You did.
Brought us
Yes.
through it, so.
Thank you so much.
I think what was amazing is you touched a lot of the women in here. I'm sitting here watching and I'm like, and it's like your spirit was able to go through each one of them and go, I felt that, because it's, again, my daughter has gone through things like that and I couldn't help her. And so you hitting certain points, or actually a lot of points in there that I couldn't be able to gauge, and some people were afraid to share. So looking at that book and just the little things I saw in there, I love that you said it's intentional. So that's a huge part. And obviously conversations that we've had, and so you've grown a lot. And shout out to Mom right here, because she makes sure that you stay intentional. Great, you have a mentor, and then you have us as uncles and aunts to be able to help be part of that.
And I wanted just to back that up as a father of 2 daughters, 6 granddaughters, 2 great-granddaughters. I'm gonna tell you, you will have people like myself that are gonna recommend my daughters to go talk to my granddaughters.
Absolutely.
It is something that's really needed. And so,
Yeah.
Excellent.
And even other parents in here, I'm sorry, Ms. Sacco, even other parents in here, because again, girl dads, it does help to be able to have something like this, what you presented, to be able to have that resource to where you say, hey, dad does care. Because again, there's emotions that we don't carry as guys. We try to hold it in, and so are you looking at that factor of saying, all right, I'm going to partner with ones that also help males, right? Or have you looked at that side yet?
I haven't looked at that side of males yet, just because of me being such a girl
Absolutely.
and just me being a female. I can really only talk for the women, just because I know that experience, and so.
Gotcha.
I haven't looked at that yet, but if God leads me to that,
There you go.
Thank you.
I actually have a request of our community. First of all, thank you for your vulnerability, because I believe that you connected with every child. Okay, so my ask of our community is, do we have anyone at the junior high level? For young women, our life changes when we go from elementary into junior high. And so to have someone like you to be able to go into that space, to speak with them, to walk with them, to let them know the things that are going to come ahead, but to be still and know who you are and really nurture yourself and not be so in tune with what the world is saying to you and what to do and how to do it, but to look within and be purposeful and to be great and think about how they want to show up in the world as they grow and develop and maintain a safe space.
Yes.
You're preaching to the choir. Because here's what I'm asking. I go to a lot of places and I hear beautiful women programs for women and women only. I would ask, and what I've heard from my senior women leader, women don't support women. And that's one of the reasons why we have that gap in revenue. So what I would ask everyone that's saying that they have these programs is to reach back to that junior high level, knowing that's a gap. And that's where it's first starts.
This is full circle, guys.
Yeah.
Junior high. I always use your this is my junior high. This is my principal from junior high.
They do it again, show it
Outing. Full circle. And every time I just praise God, it's just like, whoa, like that's how you just know you're meant to be something.
Yeah.
All right, one more time.
Say,
Go ahead.
Tamia, I'm extremely proud of you. I've witnessed your growth. I've witnessed how far you have come and how much you have evolved. Her method and what she used for herself, it works because it helps me. And I'm gonna tell my age, I'm 43 years old. And just witnessing her strength, and she's helped me tap into my feminine energy, because that me being a single mom and the head of my household and the leader in my household and the provider, I'm always in my masculine energy. And because she's so in tune with her feminine energy, it helps me get back to my softness. And so thank you for that. Thank you for just always showing up for you. Thank you for not feeling that you're too emotional, but instead you embrace it, because you inspire me to just be great and do great. So congratulations.
One more time, let's hear it for Mrs. Tamia. All right, so before we take lunch, we actually have lunch for everybody, but before we do that, we have our last community spotlight that you want to bring up.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you.
Yeah, I always get the pleasure because I've been around longer than everybody. But me and this gentleman go back to St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
That's a long, long time ago. But I'd like to bring up the Chief Operating Officer of Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Diversity Council. And they do amazing things. If you've never heard of that organization, you should. And I've been a part of that, I'm gonna say group for a long time, from my corporate to my own entrepreneurial business. So I'd like to bring up Mr. Andrew Nash.
You know, how do you follow that and keep you from your food? I just see all eyes like, hurry up, somebody said. Again, I'm blessed, you know, to see you. So I just wanted to start with thank you for the invitation today for this group. Masako and Coach, we've been around for a long time. I moved here in '93. Worked for a company here in this area called DSC Communications. Nobody's probably heard of it because it's just that old. We got bought out by Alcatel. I was in the telecom industry for that time. That's how I ended up at Worldwide Technologies out of St. Louis, the largest Black-owned business. I think they're going to do $21 billion in revenue this year. Dave Stewart and his team, and then end up back working for the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. We certify minority-owned businesses to do business with Fortune 500 companies. Along with that, we do events. Yes, I was an entrepreneur, like Bert said. I started off in this area. I was selling computers. Computer was hot in '96 or somewhere around here. DSL was coming out. AOL, you know, and you couldn't be on AOL because if you was on AOL, you was tying up the phone. So they came out with a technology that was DSL. DSL said you could be on the phone and on the internet at the same time. So we worked with the deregulation of AT&T and the baby bells. We built the DSL cabinets here in Plano with Worldwide and Telcovide.com. So I started building computers. Southwestern Bell had a great idea. We're going to give you the free PC. So nobody's going to buy a computer when Southwestern Bell is giving away free computers. So I had to pivot. As Bert said, I had to pivot, start doing software and hardware consulting for small companies. If you had 10 computers and 10 printers, I told you you only needed 3 printers with those 10 computers with everybody print, Great until it was time to renew the contract, and the company that I brought in to do the work, they went ahead of me. So if you don't have any money for a lawyer, and you could take them to court soon, but if you don't have the money, you got to go back to work. So with the council, what we do, all I have to say is that I've been in the entrepreneur side, now I'm on this side where we connect minority-owned businesses to do business with Fortune 500 companies. We do different events throughout the city. Hard Hat Construction Expo in Arlington and Irvin. We do an event where we bring together 80 state agencies, along with your corporations, your Toyotas, your PepsiCos, your Blue Cross Blue Shields, and folks that go out there. We want to be used as a resource. There's a lot of different certifications out there. So not only our organizations, there's the Women's Business Council Southwest, North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. You heard of the federal certifications, 8A, GSA schedules, and all those other ones. But again, I want to stand here as a resource to help you grow your business. I can tell you, again, the certification process, but once you get certified as a woman-owned business, minority-owned business, 8A owned business, federal contractor, that doesn't get you business. That doesn't get you business. You're still going to have to go out, sell your products, get in front of the right folks. And so what we do is help you make that connection to those folks that are there through our different events. We just finished our ISD Day in Fort Worth, getting ready to do one. If you want to do business with school districts, a lot of things I heard today. Cybersecurity, we have a workshop that's going on for free. It's a webinar that's going to tell you, because not only is that my question to you before you got off with cybersecurity, we got a grant from the city of Dallas. They made us get a policy for cybersecurity, almost $1 million policy. But what helped us is that we already had cybersecurity into our offices. So they want to come in and make sure, because again, not only do you get cybersecurity security insurance for you, you want to protect your customer. There's nothing worse, and he's going to tell you that they usually come in through those subcontractors, those people that have access to it. So we do workshops, we do networkers. Great thing about this and being around other networkers, we just had our MBE to MBE networker at this is Fees in Addison. About 60 folks or so showed up, but minority business owners or business owners in general need to know other business owners. It's great to do business with corporations and other folks, but if Bert needs a computer, he needed it yesterday. You don't have to do a purchase order. You don't have to do, he may need marketing. I'm terrible at social media. I got a marketing person that's 20-something years old because I don't know TikTok. My daughter can do it all day long. She can make TikToks and all that, all the platforms and things that are out there. Because again, we don't know what we don't know. So as our organization, not only do we help with certification, we connect you to businesses, but we want to make sure your business is grow. So I have my card. I don't know how much time I have. People are hungry, but we're here to connect, and we want to be here, and I want to be a part of this. I'm going to make sure I make the meetings and everything, because it's important for business owners to know other business owners. The great thing that someone said about the networker we had was, I didn't know I was the only person going through this. There were some ideas out there. There were some folks in the room that says, I don't do IT, but I know there's some IT opportunities out there. So this is great. Like to see the young entrepreneurs out there. They're business owners. You must not go that presentation on Alzheimer's and the presentation on self-help. Those wasn't kiddie presentations. That's the real world.
Yes.
Those are things that I look at entrepreneurs from anywhere from 100,000 to $1 billion companies. That's $1 billion presentation, both of them, because it targets what we do. And it's nothing wrong with having passion. People believe in you when they know you. If you're not passionate about it, they're not going to be passionate about it. So never apologize for being passionate about something that's going to help. The medical industry is going through roof. I'm not going to say what Blue Cross Blue Shield trying to renew with them is going to cost compared to what we were paying years ago, but it's real. Those things are happening, early detection. But that's what we need, and AI is a great tool. You know, we can't depend on it, but we need to know about it. Like you said, you can't let AI write your proposal, but it's just going to give you some great ideas.
Right.
So let's make sure technology balances with what we do. We tell that to our business owners. You just can't go in here and think people don't know about it. There's still some things you got to do to help your business, and that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Listen, I'm gonna say this for all you that say, oh, I don't need to have a minority certification. I'm gonna tell you when I was at Xerox or at IBM. One of the things that we always found with the rocket science business people that wanted to be subcontractors on the contract, and the contract was big, because they didn't meet the qualifications of eligibility. And when they went through this program, they became certified and they started dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And this has been an organization I've been a part of. I started wearing my pen. Is that a new pen? I like a new pen. I got an old pen. Because it was a part of the fabric and we've gotten away from it somewhat. Get certified. And then I won't hear about, nobody will talk to me because I'm a minority. Get certified. Nobody will talk to me because I'm a woman. Get certified.
I'm certified.
Thank you. And it makes a difference.
I'm certified.
There is a
I'm certified
certification.
too. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. And so, thank you, Andrew. Now, it's time for our last break. We're gonna get, I think Chad said we should eat while our next speaker.
That sounds like my line.
Okay.
Wait a minute, what are we gonna do? Are they gonna get their food and then they're gonna come back in here and eat?
I think that'd be a good idea, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, it's up to y'all.
We need a break, so.
Yeah, get the break.
Food is next door, drinks are next door.